Hello everyone, welcome to a new video today. This is not a process video, this is actually a flip through video. I have finished my husband's Utah album and my last couple of layouts I was working on just that. In this flip through you'll see a lot of pages that I actually had process videos for, but not all of them. I actually finished this when I was away for a weekend. I was able to get the last layouts done, so that's good. And then I also wanted to say that in this album, my husband asked that it be 12 by 12. That isn't how I normally scrap anymore. I've moved out of that size, but he wanted it this size, so that's what I did. I won't be doing 12 by 12 again, unless something really strange happens. I won't be doing it again until his next trip, which is later this summer. So whenever I get to those photos, he wants those 12 by 12 as well, so I'll have to go back to it at some point. But this is kind of the end of my Double Trouble series here now for the foreseeable future. I also want to mention that in here I really tried to use a lot of things that were in my stash, things that I've had around for a long time. And so anytime you see an eyelet or a brad, those things I've had forever. And lots of other things too, and I'll try to remember to mention those as we go. But here's the opening page. I'm going to try to keep this as much in the frame as possible. So you will notice everything's done except the journaling. My job is just to put all the pages together. Now it's his job to do the journaling. Once he does that, then they'll all go into an album. So here's the opening page. And they actually flew to Vegas and then drove from there into Utah. So they did have some photos from Vegas, which is awesome. And I said, do you want me to put those in there? And he said, yeah, absolutely, as part of the trip. So I included those as well. So I think they were only there the one night. So I think this is just kind of driving around and what they did during the day. And then the next morning they took off for Utah. So, and I have a lot of these phrase labels in here. Those are digital files that I just print at home and then cut. And so those are everywhere. And I love that because I can reuse them as many times as I want. Once I buy them, they're mine. So I can print and use as many times as I want. So it is a huge money saver as well as looking good, I think, and it fits my style. So I'm pleased about that. Use some cards I had actually from my New York trip. I didn't use them all, and a lot of those were digital files. I was able to use them for this New York layout. So you never know what you might end up using. And this was, they stayed in an Airbnb, and my husband had never done that before, and so same thing, I said, well, do you want me to scrap the photos of that house? And again, he said absolutely, so they made it in here. All right, so here they are, they're off to Zion. And I did buy some things that were specific to Zion and some that were specific to Bryce. I had a big sticker sheet for both. And the one for Zion, I did not use maybe 3 or 4 stickers. They didn't go to every location that was listed on there. But for Bryce, I was left with only one little phrase sticker that didn't get used. So I was very pleased with that. So here we are in the park. This is a 3x4 card that I just cut down. So that worked out well. I'm going to shift this a little bit just to make sure I can get more in the frame on both sides, I think. There we go. So you'll notice I used a lot of 3x4 and 4x6 cards that normally you would think, okay, you know, they're for project life, but they don't have to just be for that. You can use it for anything. And the sizes work really well with standard photos. So they appear a lot in here. And I had quite a few smaller packages of wood veneer, and I was able to use up quite a few of those on these pages as well. So it really helped me get things out of my stash. And then here he had several things that he wanted maps of. That they be included. So this was one of them, big map of Zion. So I made sure that this one he actually already had. He picked it up in the park. I just cut it down. So that did make it in there. There's another one that's actually, it was like a copy that they were given at the park. So it's on regular photocopy paper, and I used that as is. I'm not going to sweat the archival part of it. So I just used it as is. So here's one of the things from that Zion pack I had. And I did have some things too that were just generic national park, and I use those in several places. So see, some more cards here. I worked them in whenever I could. I have a lot of them, and they're just sitting around if I don't make the effort to put them in here. So I did my best. Some chipboard. That's an old set too. That's a Tim Holtz set. I don't remember what it's called. So you'll notice there are some pages I didn't leave a spot for journaling. If he had indicated that maybe he didn't have that much to say there, I did not put something in. I tried to work it in other places. So like here's a 4x6 card. There's quite a bit of space here where he could journal to talk about the hike and then seeing the vista up here. So he'll have that opportunity later. Some more chipboard. Some fun stickers I had. I think those are Karen Foster. And I had a set of these too. They were all outdoorsy kind of words, but they were very sparkly. And at first I thought, well, am I going to be able to use those? Because like they're guys, they're out hiking, right? They, I think, ended up looking really good in here. So I used, I think, all but one of those as well. So you'll see those appear too, that they're very blingy. And I did some stamping on a lot of the pages if I could work it in. And this was one that when I did the process video, I only had a 4x6 photo, but we wanted it to be 5x7. So I had left that area blank. Here it is with the 5x7 and I love it. It was the right choice. That's another one of those Karen Foster stickers. Another journaling card, stamping. So I tried to, you know, mix things up and use stickers and cards and stamping and my old eyelets. There's some right there. All that stuff just to work it in. Some more wood veneer. There's some Brad. So I've had these, I mean, years and years. Some more of the stickers from that set. So it's kind of hard to see, but they are very sparkly. Very glittery. And these items are from an ephemera pack by Fancy Pants, if I'm not mistaken. 2 more pocket cards there. This is an old kit from Club Scrap. I held on to it for a long time. I didn't know what I was going to do with it, and it worked perfectly for these kinds of photos since it was so much rock and, you know, hilly terrain, and the colors were well suited. So I was glad that I got to use up a lot of that stuff. Oh, there's another sparkly word sticker. And some more of the stickers that came in that pack that are park specific. There's another one. And another one on that one. And then I had some puffy stickers. Those were fun to use. This is an old, I believe it's an SEI alphabet. I've had that years and years too. Was finally able to use it. So that was fantastic. Now we're getting more towards Bryce. So once we started with that, then I could work in the Bryce specific thing. So I had this laser cut that I bought, and I knew I wanted to use that towards the start of the park. And so I did figure out to fit it in there. And I realized later that I think I used this twice, just in different sizes for this album. But you know what? Nobody's going to notice. I don't even think my husband noticed when I showed it to him. He said he liked everything. So if he did notice, it didn't bother him. So there's one specific to Bryce. Here's that other map that I was talking about. I just kind of cut off the edge a little bit so it looked better on a page and then put it in there. And you don't often see purple. I had this and I didn't know how I was going to use that. This sparkly, glittery purple word. And then it just happened that this map happened to use purple. So serendipity, I guess. Some more hoodoos, different park, but seeing hoodoos. More pocket cards. This paper was fun to use. That's part of a pocket card. It was a 4x6. I just cut it down. So again, more places for him to journal, or if he didn't want to, I could stamp something in there after the fact. If he gets to it and goes, ooh, you know what? I'm sick of writing, or I don't have more to say, then that's okay. I'll adjust it. But for now, I've left him the option. This is one of my favorite layouts. This paper is wild. And when I was working with it, I wasn't totally sure it was going to work, but I'm pleased with it. I like it. I had this paper forever too that was made for camping. You can kind of tell by the style, a little old, but it was hiking specific, and so I finally got to use it. And I had a bunch of these. I bought these as a pack, a bunch of these big Heidi Swapp wood veneer phrases and words, and I used a ton of those in this album. So working through the stash was a good thing. Yep, there's another one. And another one. I forgot those were next to each other. They're back to back. But I did some inking on that one, so at least it's not as plain as the other one. This was also an old Club Scrap kit. It was the same one as the one I showed previously, so I think I just had those two layouts that were left, and so I was able to use those, which is awesome. Another sticker that was specific to Bryce. There's the big one. Love that. Kind of funny that it worked out to be almost at the end rather than at the start of Bryce, but that's all right. That's where it fit, so that's okay. And then Rainbow Point. Luckily they had a sticker for that because they spent quite a bit of time there. And they actually went to the visitor center last. Most people would do that first. They went there last. So it appears at the end of the album, but it still works. That's fine. There we go. Scooch that over a little bit. More cards being used here. Whoops. And these big cork embellishments from Allie Edwards. Those were awesome. And then this is the last full page, their closing page of having dinner at the lodge on their last night. And then my husband asked that I just have an empty page protector at the end where he could drop in all of his paper goods, maps and brochures and things. So that's what's in here, and it'll probably just sit like this. If I do anything to change it, I may insert a piece of cardstock and kind of do half on the front, half on the back. But for now, I'm going to leave it just as it is. So that is it. That album is complete. So thanks to all of you who have watched along with my Double Trouble series. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.